Our guest for today is Lorraine Fretwell, Managing Director of TalentHub. Lorraine started off in the retail business with an Irish fashion designer, where she managed their main store and 3 concession stores in Dublin. She then moved to London, where she worked for an Irish entrepreneur who was building a franchise program in retail across Europe. After a number of years of successfully helping him expand that program, she then returned to Dublin to work in recruitment, which then led to her meeting and teaming up with Ellie Doyle to create their very own business, which is now nearly 6 years old, TalentHub. It's a great pleasure to welcome you, Lorraine, and looking forward to chatting to you on the mindset shift today.
Thank you, Tim. It's great to be here as well.
So, Lorraine, just tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you're from a big family, but it'd be nice to just get to know a little bit about you before we get into talk about some of the business stuff.
Absolutely. I'm from, yes, it's a very big family, Tim. It's 12. I've got 6 sisters, 5 brothers, and 9 members of the family have their own business. And I think a lot of that stems from my dad having his own business. He had 2 fruit and vegetable shops. And from a very young age, we all used to work in the shops and help out. And that was kind of, I suppose, the way we got our pocket money when we were younger. So, you know, being from such a big family, it was always very busy in our house. There was loads of people, friends popping around. So I suppose I was brought up in a very active, busy house where we all had our jobs from a very young age. We all had to pitch in and help out, being honest.
And where were you in the pecking order of the 12?
Can't you guess, Tim? I have middle child syndrome. I think middle child, I suppose, the older kids had tested the waters with my parents. They were a little bit more lenient with myself and my younger brothers. And, again, nothing was handed to you as a middle child. You kind of had to, you had to have the confidence yourself to stand out in 12. So you can imagine, with 9 of us now having our own business, how noisy it was around dinner time in our kitchen table.
And tell me a little bit about your dad, because obviously if 9 of you have now your own business, you've got that entrepreneurial skill and I suppose makeup from your dad. So tell me a little bit about your dad.
Well, my dad came, years ago. They used to leave school very young. My dad finished school just at his intercert, and he was brought up in a farm. And so his dream was to have his own shops where he could go to the market in the morning at 6 o'clock, get the best fruit and vegetables, and bring them back to the shops for the customers. So I think he was probably first one at the market. He'd be up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and as soon as the market opened, he was there getting his fruit and vegetables. He used to go every morning to make sure he got the fresh food for his customers. So he loved doing it. He worked, very hard worker, Tim. My mom was at home looking after the kids. So, to raise a family of 12, takes a lot of patience and finance as well. So he worked a lot of hours to make sure we had good schooling and make sure that but we saw the ethic he had with work as well. Up early, he'd come home, he wouldn't be home till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, most evenings after hard days work. And then he'd just relax. He switched off and relaxed with family.
And tell me about your mom. She obviously, as you said, worked at home and raised 12 kids. And, so the contrast between your mom and dad, or was there much of a contrast?
Oh, huge. My mom was in retail when she was younger. And if you ask her now, had she ever planned to have 12 children, she would probably say no, she wanted 2. So it wasn't a plan, but, again, it's going back years ago where you were blessed to have children. Yes. Wasn't, they were Catholics, so they had 12 children. But she was always clean in the house. She always had the house spotless. She was a very proud woman. She always bought us the best clothes. There was no, we'd go and get our I suppose, winter coat in Arnott's every year. She liked us dressing well. she's stickler on manners as well, Tim. You know, she wanted to bring us up as best she could. But she never rested. She was always had one child on the hip and the other one, you know, holding the hand. I don't know how she managed to keep us all together and not lose us half the time, being honest.
It's great that our plan didn't come to fruition to have only two, because we wouldn't have the chance to chat to you here today.
Exactly. Yeah.
One
But
thing is
the good thing is, I think we're all very close to him because of it. You know, for her, family's everything. And she constantly, you know, would anytime we argued, she would make sure we made up. She, you know, for her, the family support through your life and career is so important.
One thing that's very interesting is that she worked in retail, and I said in your bio that you worked in retail, obviously in Dublin and in London. Talk to me about your reasons for getting into retail, and you know, and how you enjoyed your time in retail.
It's something that I fell into. Absolutely loved it. It's very hard. You know, we were working 12 hours a day when I was in retail. We're working weekends a lot of the time as well. Mom used to come into the store. She loved when she could, you know, come in every Saturday because, again, she had a passion for retail herself. So she'd come in and bring me out to lunch every Saturday. So she'd go to Bewley's and have her lunch in Bewley's on Grafton Street. But, you know, it's when I started in retail, it was for an Irish designer. And, you know, I learned my trade. She was an amazing boss, amazing person to work with. And I was promoted very quickly. I think, you know, when I was about 21, I had 18 staff under me with one shop and two concessions. So I naturally fell into management. I naturally fell into, looking at figures, looking at revenue, how to market the clothes. And I loved retail. It was a great place to learn. Absolutely.
And then you went off to London, obviously, and that was again, you know, in the retail space, and you then set up a franchise business, or you went into partnership with a franchise owner. When you went into your ownership, what was different? You know, you're now running a business yourself, you know, in a franchise operation, as against you being a manager for somebody else's. So, what was the difference for you at that point in
time? I think you get more involved in I suppose the mission of where you want the shop to go, your vision, and you understand the finance behind it a lot more. I think when you're running, when I was working in retail in Dublin, I didn't really get into the nitty gritty of the finance, you know, the P&L, and understand, you know, the cost of the business. When you know, go into business for yourself, that it's when you understand the cost of the business and it makes more sense, to you as well. I think you work probably longer hours, because it's yours and you want to succeed in what you do. Passion drives you to do it. And I think if the difference is you just get involved with more ups and downs if it's your own business.
And you came back to Dublin then, and you joined the recruitment business. So you left the retail. So how did you make that switch, and why did you make that switch?
It was an interesting switch. I think I found that the retail, you never close your door. The retail shops were opening longer hours. They were opening 7 days a week, and you know the hours you were putting in. I just felt, is this the right career for me? Is this what I want to be doing as my career develops? Being honest, and you know, I kind of took some time out, and then went to a recruiter in London. So thinking, okay, well, what are my skills? What are my core skills? Where can I bring those core skills into a different industry? And I was in my early 30s, and I met this girl who was had advertised a job, and she turned around to me and said, well, Lorraine, I'd love if you joined our company. And she said, you'd have to join as a junior. You'd have to go down quite a lot in salary. But I think you'd be a really good recruiter. I'll train you up. You'll move up within a year. Would you take the risk? And I weighed it up, and it was perfect opportunity for me to get out of retail, go into a different industry. But I had to take a cut in salary. I had to bring my salary down, but I had faith in myself that I knew I'd get back up within a year. So I got it back up, thank God. And so when I moved back to Dublin, the move was more towards, again, getting into my mid-30s. I got married to an Englishman, and he got an offer for a job in Dublin, which was a really good offer. And I wanted to spend some more time with my family. I wanted to move home. My mom and dad were getting older. And I just wanted to, it was the right time. It was the right time to move home. I was there for a long time, and I felt if I didn't do it then, I probably wouldn't do it.
And when you came back, you stayed in the recruitment business in Dublin.
Absolutely. I knew where I wanted to be. I knew recruitment was right for me. It let me use all the skills I felt I'd built up over the years. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you're building skills all the time. And to be able to use those skills in a different industry, recruitment was definitely the one that I felt I'd found my niche.
So 5 years ago, then yourself and Ellie Doyle decided to start up TalentHub. Just tell me about, I suppose, the background to starting the company 5 years ago.
Well, we were both working in recruitment, and Ellie Doyle came to me and said, Lorraine, we should have a chat sometime about, setting our own company up. And I remember saying to Ellie, I'll chat to you about it if you're serious. If you're only interested in having a little chat, let's not bother, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So she said, no. I think, it would be great. I think we should talk. I think, we should meet up. So we met up, and we both had a passion about finding talent solutions for clients where we were. And we felt we wanted to set up an agency that could continue that.
Okay.
So, again, finances, we were there going, okay, well, what's going to cost us? What do we want to achieve? What should our vision be? Who do we want to partner with in the business to support us along the way as well? And hence TalentHub was grown. We set up in a Regis building. Literally the room was nearly the smallest room you could get in the building at the time, because we were keeping all the costs down.
Okay.
Didn't even have a window, Tim, and we were sitting opposite each other. I suppose we couldn't really talk to any of our clients or candidates previously, just because we were on a strict compete. So it was really starting from scratch again. But we were both determined. We were both, both of us had a vision, and we were on the phones chatting to people, like meeting people. But tiny office, it was a great experience, and I'll always remember it as the start of TalentHub as well.
It's interesting when you talk about this small office and the two of you together, and I can just visualize you on the phone. But there's great banter as well. There's great fun, because it's now your business, and you're starting out, and you're setting seeds, and obviously you want them to develop and to grow. Tell me about the relationship that at that point between yourself and Ellie, because in an office with no window, with little space, it can be just very interesting for people to hear how you got on, because, and also the pressure of building a business.
I think the walls were very thin. So in the Regis buildings, I don't know if you've ever kind of rented a room in there. So both of us are chatty. And Tim, you've met Ellie Doyle. She's extremely chatty. So yes. I'm sure our neighbours were there going, I wish the hell they'd get off the phone. But that's what we're doing. We were on the phone constantly. And if we needed that break, there was a big foyer out the front. So we could, one of us could sit there for a little bit. Both of us had separate strengths. So we were constantly utilising our strengths of one of us with candidates, one of us with clients, and we'd go to meetings together. So, we built that friendship previously, but we had respect for each other, for our business ethics and the way we worked. So we were just a very good team together. And I'd always kind of recommend, if anyone is going into partnership, make sure that you're on the same frame of mind, which spoke about our vision and mission and our mission, and we were both wanted to achieve and wanted to grow TalentHub. So we both had a very similar strategy of where TalentHub wanted to, where we wanted to bring the company.
So before 2020, how has TalentHub grown? I mean, has it grown in line with your expectations? Has it exceeded some of your expectations? Has it fallen short of some of your expectations? What's happened in the first 4 years? And then we'll come on, obviously, to talk about 2020 separately.
Well, I think there's 10 of us, 10 staff at the moment, and TalentHub consultancy now recruits in IT, marketing, data, design, sales solutions. When we started, it was pure marketing. So we've definitely built the different areas that we recruit in. And I think, it's a slow growth, but it's a growth that we didn't want to rush it. We wanted to make sure that everybody was in line with our vision as well. And I think looking at before COVID, our plans had definitely to grow, where to grow this year. Without a doubt, we'd just kind of relaunched the website, and we're doing, I suppose, introducing different products to our business, which we'll talk about. But so it was definitely in line where we were going. We're still looking to grow this year. We had a strategy in place for 3 years, and each year was growth as well. We weren't looking to grow by the hundreds, but we were looking to grow out the agency. Yeah.
So the company was positioned very well at the start of 2020. Obviously, you had achieved your expectations. Your strategic plan was documented, and you were very clear, of that journey. And then we're hit by COVID. So let's go back to the start of 2020. What were your you made a point earlier, you launched new products. What were your key strategic objectives in 2020 for TalentHub?
It definitely was to get deeper into talent solution side, which is recruitment is part of it. We wanted to go a little bit deeper than just recruitment. We wanted to look at how to support our clients with retaining staff, how to support our clients with, I suppose, not training staff, but being really at the forefront of being able to develop their own staff as well. And that's, we looked at different coaching models, and we thought, partnering with somebody on the coaching side and being able to bring that end-to-end talent solution to our clients was definitely a vision that we saw for 2020. And we also looked at our, I suppose, the industries that we do recruit in. And we were looking at, okay, well, how do we, for talent solutions, it's not just permanent. We need to be able to offer contracting. We need to be able to offer our clients project candidates who can cover project work as well. So it was really kind of broadening that area of expertise. We felt that, if we could, I suppose, offer more products to our clients that really help them with that solution. Because it's very important when you're growing a business, for any business owner, your staff are key to growth. So to be able to not just get your staff, but to keep the good staff that you get. And that's where we felt we could bring more value to them as well.
Did that give you a competitive advantage in the landscape and the market you were competing in?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think as recruiters, we don't always get a great reputation for follow on. I think, there's lots of different type of recruitment agencies and then recruitment consultancies. We've always seen ourselves as more the consultancy side of recruitment, and really helping clients with what their strategy looks like, and then being able to fit in and partnership with them gives that extra added value to the client, and they feel confident then giving you the role. Those roles, the companies we work with, the roles are very important for the growth. So, for them to trust us to find them the perfect candidate, and that, that candidate who, performance is important. It's great. It's great for us to have that and get that reputation that we are, for me, it's important to get in the reputation that we are the go-to agency for that type of person.
And you mentioned early on about that, you learn all the time in different parts of your career, and that you're always keen to learn. What was the big thing you'd learned, I suppose, just before COVID had taken place? If there was, what was the one thing you say, well, this really has made a difference to TalentHub? I mean, the Talent Solutions is a brilliant concept that it's end to end, and you want to become the go-to agency. But was there anything that you say, from all the other experiences you've had, that really, this learning has really helped me?
I think there's definitely different bits of. I always think if you look at and follow certain people's and certain other people's career, you can get snippets of different things you can bring into your own business. I think with what we were learning, you're learning on the go. Being honest, Tim.
Yes.
A lot of the times it's learn on the go. You have to learn how to change quick, how to understand the figures, how to understand the data. I think this year data has been very important to understand. There's lots of technologies out there. We have to understand how technology is influencing the recruitment industry as well. So I'm always learning. I've always liked to learn. But I think everything we learn, you take what you want, and then you dump the rest that you think isn't going to be beneficial for the business.
So when COVID hit, how did you deal initially, with the challenge of COVID? Because, we're now looking back, we're still obviously in COVID, but we're looking back at, in hindsight. But try and go back to the moment that COVID hit, and, we don't know what the future is. How did you deal initially with that challenge of COVID?
It was obviously it's hit us all really hard. I think initially, April was the day that we had to tell all the staff to go home until we knew when. It was very difficult because for us, our staff, and us, we're all worried. We're worried about COVID itself. Take the business out for a minute. The staff are worried about their safety, their health, about getting home. What does it mean to them? And then, it's trying to everybody sitting at home. Do we have the technology? Do we have a laptop? To continue working from home. So initially it was staff, without a doubt. And then we had to, as the following week, I think our roles just, shrunk about 95%. So for us, it was very worrying times for the business as well. And in April, it was our worst month that year. Touch wood, thank God, it's still just the worst month as well, if you know what I mean. But I think, and then our clients were there and they were worried and they were all going through what we were going through. There was people being let go, we work a lot within the travel industry, and a lot of our candidates were being let go. I got calls from one or two clients. Candidates were supposed to start and they had to pull the roles. It was awful because they had left the previous role that they were in to start. So we had to break that news to them as well. So if you look at the effect of April on the candidates and the clients, we're all in a bit of a flux. Nobody knew what was happening at the start. The main focus for us was to staff at home safe and able to continue to work. And then from there, it was clients and our candidates and what we could do to help our clients and our candidates through this time as well.
It's interesting. It's interesting for me that you put staff first, because that's actually, shows you as in your leadership that, caring for your staff. And that's very important for all leaders. One thing, you talked about is that the uncertainty for staff, and then obviously the sad story about people who had left their job to take up another role, and then the role was withdrawn. That they were very difficult. What strain did that put on you at that time? Lorraine, in the sense of you personally, and obviously in your, personally first, and then in your professional world, because the world is changing. Your candidates and clients are, are difficulties for everybody, and there's difficulties for you. What was the strain like for you?
It was huge because I have twins who are 8, who weren't, also were at home. So I suppose if I look at the strain personally, it was trying to, look after my family, keep them safe as well. Nobody knew how bad it was going to get. The schools are all closed. And they were at the age where they were hearing things, on the news or from people, and the kids were talking about it. So they were going through a very hard time themselves, for them. They what classroom whispers are like.
Yes.
It got 10 times worse.
Yes.
So, we had to sit down with them and talk to them about it, and tell them they couldn't see their nan for a while. And then, make sure, but there was the personal stuff and then there was the business stuff. And I think trying to manage both, it was definitely very challenging, really, really challenging times. And I suppose not understanding where recruitment was going to be.
Okay.
Was very worrying for myself and my business partner, Ellie Doyle, as well. Yeah.
Because if you think about it, you've come into the year with great expectations. You've had 4 very good years of growth and continued growth, both in staff numbers and obviously in revenue. You have new products that you're now bringing to market to have the complete talent solutions and the go-to agency. And then this has the storm of COVID has come upon us, and you have staff issues, candidate issues, and client issues. But strategically, you're the MD. You've got to pivot. You've got to make decisions. Because your responsibility is to make sure there's a business to come back to. That's ultimately your job as the leader of the team. So, what were the strategic pivots that you had to make? In the early months of COVID, which have now obviously continued to follow through.
Well, I felt that our brand was very strong. It was about quickly refocusing on our mission. So it might take longer because of COVID. Our vision didn't change. So we needed to relook at our strategy a little bit. Now, and that was kind of, I suppose, a little bit down the line. Initially, we looked at our candidates and looked at our clients and thinking, okay, they're not recruiting. We're not going to get revenue in this month. How can we support them? How can we help them? How can we make a difference to them? What can we do? And we offered complimentary coaching sessions to all our clients. Quite a few of them took it up. Fantastic feedback from it. And it was coaching sessions around different topics at the time, Tim, depending on where we were at. And so I'm thinking about, this is like June time now. So from April to June. So April was a bit panicky. May was a bit, let's sit down, take stock of this, and let's, relook at our mission and then go, okay, well, there's not going to be loads of recruitment this month. What can we do? What can we help? How can we support? So June, our I suppose strategy was, okay, well, let's look at our coaching business, which we just launched. How can we help people with that through these times? And with coaching, it was really there to support people on how to get through it, how to manage staff working remotely, how to manage your budget, your finance. There was a lot of different topics that we could cover with our clients. Our candidates, we brought masterclass for CV advice online, where a lot of people took part in as well. And that was really just helping our candidates or helping people who have been let go, giving them advice on CV, giving them advice on interview techniques, how to interview online, because it's very different, isn't it?
Yes,
you're not sitting in front of the person being able to read body language anymore. So, it was really giving advice to candidates on getting ready when the jobs come in to be the best person they can going forward. And with staff, it was daily, every morning we'd have meetings. We talk about, our what we were going to do, what campaigns we we're going to look at, how we we're going to talk to our candidates, our clients. And also, I think every Friday we had a beer Friday as well, which is great. Well, wine or beer. But I think at 5:00 we went online and just talked, open conversation and not about work. So we put that into place, come June time, and I think Ellie Doyle, my business. We did a few partnerships with contracting companies to help our clients understand, well, if you do take somebody on as a contractor this year, what does that look like? What's that look like for your headcount for in these times? How can that, get you through this year with project work rather than permanent work? So I was trying to, give solutions like we were trying to do talent solutions, but just opening it a bit more, and helping people through those times. Because we always felt that our brand was very strong, and you've got to understand companies are going through ups and downs. Some are doing great, some sectors aren't, and you've got to look at each one individually and see how you can support them differently as well.
It's great to hear, in a managing director of a business saying, we were in panic mode, because I think at times sometimes we look at leaders and we think that they never panic. So, but then what you did was you took the panic, as you talked about in April, and then in May you sat down and said, okay, we need to pivot our business. And you talked about giving people complimentary coaching sessions, Ellie did a lot of webinars, and you looked after, and then you did some master classes on CVs. So you really focused on ensuring that your candidates and your clients were still getting solutions from you, even though some were complimentary and some were, and some were just more, I suppose, fine-tuned for candidates. But they were getting them in the new remote environment. But what I really enjoyed was the fact that you also made sure that your staff were always, looked after and cared for, because that's one of the big challenges for all of us with organizations, is to care for our staff, and having the beer or wine or coffee or whatever on the Friday evening is a really nice touch to make people, feel that we're still in this, we're in this journey together in that sense. So that's interesting. One question from that though, we're now 8 months into, COVID, and where do you sit today in TalentHub? What's the world looking like for you just right now?
We're still working from home, still working remotely. Our business, we can. I think quite a lot of the staff miss that interaction. So when it's allowed, we're going by the government regulations. When it's allowed, we will maybe go back to tag teaming in the office. So we have that collaboration again. I think with the work we've done all through the months has definitely paid off. Our jobs doubled in September. The market's definitely turning a little bit. And I think everything, we always believed, during COVID, don't just disappear, be out there, be visible to help and support. And because we've done that, I think it definitely stood to us, because, we're getting busier again, not to the stage where we would. People are working from home more, but it's the panic is gone. I think people are ready to try work in this new environment that we're in, and that's what we want to deliver. Still the best talent solution.
So I get the sense from you, Lorraine, that you're really excited about the future, and we still have the challenges of COVID, and we just have business challenges and other normal challenges. But I get the sense you're excited about the future for yourself and for TalentHub.
Absolutely. I think, we none of us knows what the future of work looks like. But Tim, we were doing sessions. We used to do like a leadership, a leaders hub previous to COVID, where things were changing already. Well, I felt that before. The workspace was changing. People were starting to work remotely a bit more. So I think COVID has pushed things forward in the workplace. So I'm excited because I think there's loads of growth coming ahead. I think we've difficult times, absolutely, coming our way as well. But I think, for me, it's stay grounded, keep your mission in your head. And when you have those bad days, just remember that vision that you had for the organization and keep it in mind. And I think it gets you through the good and bad days as well. But absolutely, I'm excited to continue to grow. I'm excited to look at really, again, those end-to-end talent solutions for our clients and really being and making a difference and really partnering better with them as well.
The series is called The Mindset Shift. Do you believe your mindset has shifted during the last 8 or 9 months?
Absolutely, but I think it started shifting before that, Tim. I've myself been doing coaching, and I think it's made a big difference for me on how to bring that. I think, I think if when I say mind shift, I'd always feel like I'm always looking at the next thing, or how to grow the company, or where to do we need to pivot. What it's done is it's moved it faster, quicker, because we're doing it more remotely. But again, I'm sticking to what I say with my mission and the vision to get there. It's just, yes, it's shifted and it'll slow down, but it doesn't mean we won't get there.
Well, listen, Lorraine, thank you very much for being a guest on the Mindset Shift series. It's been a real pleasure talking to you, and continued success to you and all at Talent.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you for watching The Mindset Shift. For more episodes, check out www.talenthub.ie/The Mindset Shift.